I was very conflicted when I was trying to decide what to read for tonight. And one of the things I wanted to read was from my book on Atlas Shrugged, The Manifesto of the Mind, because my final chapter in this book is called The Road to Hell. And my theme there is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think when one's talking about so many of the situations that we're dealing with today that have turned disastrous, you can see exactly how the road to hell may have been paved by good intentions. But I decided instead that I would read from my more current book, and this is a book that situates Rand among other major conservative and libertarian thinkers. And it's one volume in a 20-volume set, and we have thinkers there like John Locke and Hume and Hobbes and Milton Friedman and Hayek, and so I think that puts Rand in very serious company. So in my chapter in which I'm talking about Rand's contemporary relevance, I say, as world events unroll, particularly as government involvement in economics eventuate in disastrous effects, the relevance of Rand continues to loom large. A January 2009 Wall Street Journal article underlines the ominous parallels between the situation Rand depicts in Atlas Shrugged and the economic crisis in the United States at the time of the writing. The author, a senior economics writer for the newspaper, cites the similarities between the successive bailout and economic stimulus plans unveiled almost weekly in Washington and the, quote, economic lunacy that Atlas Shrugged parodied in 1957. Noting the downward spiral created when politicians responding to crises create more regulations, programs, and laws that only make the situation worse, the article reminds readers that in a situation like that, the productive sectors of the economy eventually collapse under the burden. Rand named the wealth redistributionists in the novel moochers and looters, who use benevolent language to mask the basic felonious intent of their laws and edicts. Moore makes the convincing argument that what was considered exaggeration in the novel is not as absurd as the current reality, which seems to reward incompetence and malfeasance with handouts and subsidies, although it denigrates as greedy, resourceful business people who create jobs and wealth. It is difficult to predict which writers and thinkers will continue to be read and discussed years after their death. For every Jonathan Swift, there are dozens of Wilkie Collins and Collie Sibbers. The names of many of the dramatists who won the laurels at the Dionysian festivals have long faded into obscurity, whereas we still read some of the second and third place winners. Even closer to our era, and here I have the personal experience, when I was studying drama as an undergraduate student, one of the plays that was in every anthology was Kopek's R.U.R. And in fact, it is from Kopek's R.U.R. that we get the word robot. When I teach drama today, I cannot find an anthology that has Kopek's R.U.R. in it. So we never know what is going to last and what isn't going to last. On the one hand, reading Khalil Gibran was de rigueur in the 20th century, but his works have little resonance in the 21st. On the other hand, writers once forgotten are resurrected. The women's movement and the Black civil rights movement have resurrected some of these writers. Zora Neale Hurston died in obscurity and was buried in an unmarked grave. But now she is read as a leading light of African American literature, while her hometown is celebrated as a historic district in the middle of Orlando, with a festival every year. Most of Faulkner's works were out of print when he won the Nobel Prize. Now his works are considered a major stylistic influence on 20th century literature. As has been demonstrated, Rand's literary works are slowly moving out of the category of popular fiction into the realm of masterworks. However, Rand has an advantage over most creative writers in that unlike writers who work only in the realm of fiction, Rand has the added benefit of being a major figure in both fiction and nonfiction. Her influence is felt in a diversity of disciplines, including economics, business, aesthetics, and politics. In the continuing and continuous conflict between those forces in the world that promote individuality, freedom, and human dignity, and their opposite, those forces that encourage conformity, obedience, and subservience to the group, I believe that Rand's relevance will continue to be felt.